Hi everybody, welcome back. So I was binge watching some of Hannah Louise Poston's videos the other day and I came across one that was so super interesting. It was all about how her makeup preferences had changed, and it really got me thinking about mine, because I really do feel like mine have changed over the past year or so. So I wanted to kind of do my own version of that video. I will link her video down below, so after this one go and check her one out because it was super interesting. But I'm going to follow a similar format, a similar structure to the one in her video, because it really clearly laid everything out, and the description of how her preferences are changed and the reasons why just made it really clear to understand. So I am going to follow a similar structure to her video and basically just explain when my makeup preferences changed, how they've changed, and what I think are the main reasons behind those changes. So I think I'm going to start off with when I think my makeup preferences changed, and I feel like it's been in the past year, and I think that has really coincided with my interest in colour season analysis and finding out the right types of colours, the tones, the saturation that works best for you. So I feel like it's been this kind of gradual process over the last year of my makeup preferences and style changing. Because when I started my YouTube channel when did I start? Was it 2020? 2021? I can't remember, but I've had my channel for a couple of years, and when I first started my YouTube channel I was quite experimental, quite creative with how I did my makeup. So I would wear a dark eye with a dark lip, I would wear really bright, bold and colourful eyeshadow. So I remember having an eyeshadow palette from Makeup Revolution, or Revolution as they're now called, a bright colourful eyeshadow palette from them. So I would wear like a bright pink eyeshadow, I would wear yellow, I would wear like a lime green. So I would wear a full rainbow of colours on my eyes. I would also go for a cut crease, I would go for a nice shimmer in the middle, I would go for a full-on glitter eyeshadow. On my lips I would go from any colour right from the lightest beige right through to a dark plum colour, and everything kind of in between. I do also as well on my channel have a playlist of my makeup through the decades videos, where I would do a 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, noughties and 10s I think makeup look. So I was open to being really quite creative and bold and colourful with my makeup choices, but I really do think if I was to pinpoint it, it would be in the past year, and especially around December time when I had my colour season analysis, and I feel like having that done has really shaped my makeup style since then. But I will talk more about that when I talk about the reasons why my makeup has changed. So that's the when. Now if we think about the how my makeup has changed. Firstly, I like a lighter base. So again, if we go back to the start of my YouTube channel, and maybe even before that, I would go for matte full coverage foundation. So I would go, for example, with the Estee Lauder Double Wear foundation, which is quite a wearable foundation, but it is matte, it is flawless, and I think I wore that one in my 1950s makeup look, and in that there is no dew, there's kind of no radiance in my skin. It is a full coverage matte foundation. So that used to be my preference, but now I much prefer a lighter base, so much so that I don't want to be owning any foundations. I have 3 in my collection and I am trying to pan them. I have 2 in my current project pan, and then once those are used up I will be rolling in another one. So once I've used up all of my foundations, I want to stick to, say, BB creams, or maybe like a skin tint, or maybe just bits of concealer as and where I feel like I need that bit of coverage. I don't feel like I need a full face of foundation. I have a full face of foundation on now because I'm trying to wear it, but I can feel it. I can feel like there's a lot of makeup on my face, even though I'm not sure it looks like there's a lot. I can feel it, so I don't like the look of a full coverage foundation or the feeling. I much prefer something lighter, so I'm starting to make that transition from a full coverage foundation to a lighter coverage base. And kind of expanding on that for reason number 2 is that overall I prefer more of a minimal look. So I said that at the start of my YouTube channel I would wear like a dark eyeshadow with a dark lip, or a bold eyeshadow and maybe like a bright lip. I much prefer something more minimal overall, so something like this, even though I still feel like this is a lot of makeup. So like nothing on the eyes, just a bit on the lips, a bit of colour on the cheeks, so a real toned down, pared back makeup look. So I am very much into like the stereotypical French girl aesthetic at the moment, both in terms of makeup and also in clothes. I feel like it really sort of suits my personal preferences and my aesthetic. So that is something that I am still working on trying to achieve, that much more of a minimal makeup look, and I am trying to get my makeup collection to look like that, but it is just taking me a while to pan items, to use things up, because I don't want to have a ruthless declutter for the sake of decluttering. I want to work through my makeup items, get them used up, but if I find any items along the way that I want to declutter, I will do so, but the aim is to get down to much more of a minimal look. So number 3 in how my makeup preferences have changed is that I am much less bothered about wearing eyeshadow now. I have eyeshadow on, but like with the foundation, I'm trying to kind of work through my eyeshadow collection. I have had quite a few declutters of my eyeshadow collection over the past year. I have a pan in every eyeshadow palette challenge going on, so I'm really trying to streamline my eyeshadow collection. And to be honest with you, if I was to start from scratch, and I have done a couple of videos about this actually, about starting from scratch with my makeup collection, I don't think I would buy any eyeshadow, or if I did, I would only buy maybe like a quad that is very earthy toned, very natural, very minimal. I don't like a lot of eyeshadow going on my eyes, and there is a couple of reasons for that. One, because I have hooded uneven eyes. I can't remember which way around it is. Yeah, I think it's this one that's less hooded. I think this one is the more hooded one. So if eyeshadow is the main focal point of my makeup, I feel like it really highlights the difference in my eyes, so I'm not particularly keen on that. I also am not very good at doing eyeshadow. I'm good at the one wash of colour, I can do that, but anything more elaborate than that, I'm just not very good at it. It's not where my strengths lie in doing my makeup. I've never really been that good at doing eyeshadow. And also I just don't like the look of lots of eyeshadow on my eyes. I don't like dark colours, regardless of whether they're the right tone for me, regardless of whether they're warm toned, which suits me. I just don't like a lot of colour going on my eyes, so I've moved from wearing a lot of eyeshadow and being quite experimental with the eyeshadow to not really being that bothered about it. So where I feel like wearing a lot of eyeshadow kind of accentuates the differences in my eyes, I'm trying to wear makeup to kind of enhance my features instead. So this is number 4. This is another reason as to how my makeup preferences have changed. Whereas before I would just kind of put makeup on and not really take into account my eye shape, my face shape, for example. I'm trying to kind of incorporate that more now into doing my makeup. That requires a level of skill, and I don't think I quite have that level of skill, but I am more aware of it. So for example, I kind of tried to put a bit of sort of like bronzer here, but which I suppose isn't contouring my face because it's not a contour, but I tried to kind of put a bit of shadowing here along the jawline. I tried to kind of place my bronzer and blusher a bit higher up on the cheeks to kind of get a little bit more of a snatched effect. So I'm trying not to place those cheek products lower down on my face because it kind of brings your face down a little bit. When I do wear eyeshadow, I try to kind of build it up a bit more on this eye to kind of, I suppose, fake the crease a bit more on this eye, where this eye is a bit more hooded. With my lips, I feel like my bottom lip is a bit kind of straight, so I try to put a bit of lip liner under the central part of my lower lip to kind of create that kind of circular effect. So I'm learning more about my features and how best to enhance my features through makeup, whereas before I wouldn't really kind of take that into consideration. I would just kind of go through the motions and just put on a full face of makeup. And then the 5th way in how my makeup has changed is that I now only solely wear warm tones. I do not own any cool toned makeup now. I think I am correct in saying that every single piece of makeup within my collection is now warm toned. And I do that because I've had my colour season analysis done. I am an autumn. I am the warmest sub-season of autumn as well. So everything with regards to my hair, my jewellery, my clothes, my makeup has to be warm. Well, it doesn't have to be, but to look my best, it kind of needs to be warm. So if there is any bit of coolness within any part of my appearance, there is going to be some jarring going on. It's not going to be harmonious. So I have decluttered I have decluttered cool toned blushes, lip products and eyeshadows. I've passed those on to my boyfriend's sister because she is cool toned, so that's worked out really well. So I only wear warm toned makeup, so the makeup today is very warm toned. And I feel like this how in particular is probably the most important part of my makeup that has changed. And this is something that I am 100% gonna stick with, because if I look back on pictures of me wearing cool tone makeup, the difference is remarkable. Cool tone makeup, cool toned eyeshadow makes my eyes look really sunken, really highlights my dark circles. My green eyes don't look vibrant. It just makes me look tired, makes me look sallow. So this is definitely something that I am gonna stick with. I will probably, to be honest with you, stick with all of these howls, but this one I would say is the most important one. So I've got 5 reasons as to why I think that my makeup preferences have changed. And the first one is aging, just getting older. There's a couple of kind of sub reasons to do with this one, I would say. So firstly is that now I'm in my 30s, how makeup feels and applies on my skin is different to how it applied in my 20s and in my teens. I do really feel, or it felt like, as soon as I hit 30, as soon as I turned 30, my skin just changed. I never had any problems with dehydration, dryness, sensitivity. My skin always used to be quite kind of oily, like oily combination, but now the dryness and the sensitivity are the main kind of problem areas, the main kind of concerns when it comes to my skin. So when I put makeup on, my skin has to be really hydrated first of all. So I think this is where my preference for things like skin tints has kind of come through, because they're this hybrid between a makeup product and a skincare product, and they are typically quite hydrating. So they add that kind of hydration back into my skin, and they help to give my skin this kind of luminosity, this radiance that I feel like my skin quite often needs now. And also, if I was to wear like a full coverage matte foundation, it would just accentuate dryness, and it would just feel like it's sucking out any moisture in my skin. So I feel like how my skin type has changed comes in to this reason why, but also as well just kind of getting a bit more comfortable as to what I like and what I don't like. And as you get older, you learn more about that. So I know now my preferences, what I like and what I don't like when it comes to wearing makeup. Now I do just want to say this is how aging has affected my preferences with makeup, but it might be different for you. So for example, as you get older, you give less of a damn of what people think about you. You really do. I mean, I'm only in my 30s, but I have noticed that so far this decade that I just kind of care less and less about what people think. So you might take it to the other way around, and where before you might have worn more minimal makeup because you didn't want to stand out, now you might think, screw it, I'm going to wear bright and bold colourful makeup. I'm going to wear really graphic and intense makeup because that's what I like. So it can work kind of either way. I just needed to get out of the bedroom and the camera was in the way, so hopefully the setup is kind of fairly similar. So reason number 2 as to why I think that my makeup has changed is that I've had my creative, my experimental phase, I suppose, when it comes to makeup. So like I kind of have kept saying, when I first started my YouTube channel, I was very creative with makeup. I did want to try all these different kind of colour combinations, whereas now I feel like I've kind of gotten that out of my system. I don't feel both the need or the desire to be creative with makeup anymore. I've done that. It was fun. I'm glad I've done it. I learned a lot from being creative with makeup, but now I just don't want to. I am happy enough wearing a fairly minimal, neutral style of makeup. Some people might find that really boring, so some people who come to my channel might kind of see me wearing the same makeup in every single YouTube video, but that's just me, that's my preferences. This isn't the channel to come to if you want these really kind of fun, bold, creative makeup looks. So I feel like I've had that creative experimental period and I don't need nor want to experiment with makeup anymore. I found what works for me and I'm happy with that. So I mentioned this one in the how my makeup preferences have changed, but this also fits into the reasons why my makeup preferences have changed. And number 3 is because I have found my colour season. So like I said, I am an autumn. I suit warm, muted colours, and that also then extends into how I wear my makeup. So my makeup today is very autumnal. I've got a bit of a bronzy eye going on, I've got a peach blusher, I've got a very kind of light lip, and the makeup that suits me, because it kind of reflects my colouring, is soft and it's blended. So there's nothing very kind of like striking going on with my makeup look. I can do that if I want to, but when I do that now, I tone down everything else. So if I was to go a lot kind of bronzier, maybe a darker brown on the eyes, I would make sure that everything else was a lot more minimal. So maybe I would just brush through my brows instead of put some brow pencil in my brows. I'd maybe tone down the blush a little bit, maybe not do so much highlight. If I wanted to go in with a red lip, I would maybe just do a bit of a skin tint and a little bit of mascara. So I've kind of discovered how best to wear makeup to suit my kind of contrast levels, and as well, like I've mentioned, the tones of makeup as well. So I purely wear warm tone makeup. I stick with these kind of earthy, muted colours, so browns, beiges, golds, coppers, sort of like soft oranges, muted peaches, maybe like very light, soft, brown-based pinks. So it's all colours that are warm toned, that are soft, blended, muted, and are just going to suit me and my colour season. And number 4 is really linked in to my previous point. Number 4 is that I have become more attuned to my personal style and finding an aesthetic that works for me. So along with discovering that I am an autumn, I've also had a style appointment with House of Colour, and my clothing personality is a natural classic, but that not only is about the clothes that I'm wearing, but that's to do with accessories, to do with how you style your hair, and also with your makeup. So with a natural classic, your accessories are minimal, they are classic. So I've got, for example, just a couple of gold bracelets, and I've got some classic gold pearl drop earrings, and then a necklace to match. My hair, I sleep in a plait, so it has a little bit of kind of texture in it now, but I washed it last night. I tipped my head upside down, blow dried it, and it dries so super straight. And then also with your makeup, for a natural classic, it's having very minimal makeup, so nothing bold, nothing daring, nothing too creative. As a natural classic, we like things to be very simple, very clean, bit of structure going on there, but nothing too kind of loud or garish or kind of something that's going to bring a load of attention to our look. We like to be quite kind of simple, understated, with an easy elegance going on. So I feel like now that I know both my colour season and my style personality, my clothing personality, I feel like that's really kind of shaped how I have my makeup. I really do like this kind of minimal makeup. It fits in with my aesthetic, and like I mentioned previously in the video as well, I very much like that stereotypical French Parisian girl, woman kind of vibe. So that is kind of what I'm leaning to. And then the last reason as to why I think my makeup preferences have changed are to do with current trends, because I'm under no illusion that I am to some extent influenced by current trends. And the trend at the moment, ever since COVID, ever since lockdown, has been all about a pared back, more natural looking makeup. So it's not about these kind of like heavily filled in brows, sort of like a cut crease, really like contoured, chiseled cheeks, that kind of high coverage, full coverage matte foundation. Think about the kind of makeup trends back in, say, like 2015, 2016. It was a lot heavier. It was a more kind of like full glam makeup look, whereas now it's all about just kind of enhancing your natural features, having a lighter base, fluffier brows, a bit of wash of colour, natural looking lips. It's all about luminosity and radiance. So I do feel like that trend has possibly played a part as well as to why my makeup has changed. So it will be interesting if we go back to a makeup style that is kind of akin to the 2015-2016 full glam inspired makeup, whether that would reflect in how I do my makeup. I personally don't think it will, because there have been other reasons as to why my makeup has changed. Like I say, aging, not wanting to really be creative with makeup anymore, I'm not bothered about that, and just my overall personal style and aesthetic now. But I do believe that trends do influence your own personal preferences when it comes to makeup, whether you think they do or not. So that is how my makeup preferences have changed and why I think they've changed. If you've noticed that your preferences, your taste, your makeup style has changed, please let me know down below why you think they've changed and how they've changed as well. Would be really interesting to read your comments. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it interesting. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up, and please also subscribe if you haven't as well. It would be lovely to have you here. And I will see you again very, very soon for my next one. Thank you. Bye.